Today we're gonna put the top 6 AIs against each other and see who can create the best Geometry Dash clone completely from scratch. No templates, no shortcuts, pure coding from the ground up. Once they're all done, we will rate each one of them from 10 and crown ourselves a champion. I've got the prompt all ready to go, so let's spin the wheel and see which AI gets to go first. Okay, so DeepSeek is up first. Here's the prompt, and honestly, I'm really hoping this goes well because starting strong would be awesome. So DeepSeek is taking its time, which is actually a really good sign. You want your AI to be thorough, no rushing through things. I can see it's actually implementing all the features we asked for in the prompt. That's promising. Alright, it's finally finished up the code. Man, 660 lines is actually pretty impressive. I can't wait to fire this game up and see how it plays. Okay, so right off the bat, the obstacles are way too big for our jump. And there's another issue, there is no sound playing at all, even though we turned on all the audio options in the settings. Let's tell it to fix all the issues and scale down the obstacles to something more reasonable. Gonna give it another 5 minutes or so to work its magic. Oh, and by the way, this entire challenge is being done using the free versions of these AIs, so what you're seeing is literally what you get out of the box without dropping a single dollar. Alright, the coding is finally wrapped up, time to test this one again. This one is 855 lines, which is even bigger than the previous attempt. That's a good sign. So the game itself is looking pretty solid now, and we've got both sound effects and background music working. But here's the problem. It's basically unplayable because the speed is cranked way too high and the obstacles are spaced exactly the same distance apart. Super repetitive. So let's hit it with one final prompt to fix these issues and make it actually fun to play. This time we're looking at 1082 lines of code. DeepSeek is seriously making me more and more excited with each iteration. Look at this! This is actually perfect. The game is legitimately playable now and it's got all the features we wanted. The design is honestly not bad at all. I'm gonna give this one a solid 9 out of 10. Alright, let's spin that wheel again and see who goes next. And Gemini takes it. I've heard a lot of great things about Gemini lately, so let's feed it the prompt and cross our fingers. Okay, so it's made us a game, but it's saying there are some errors in the code. So let's hit this button and see if it can fix itself. One cool thing I gotta say about Gemini is that it actually has its own built-in compiler, which means you can play the game right there without needing to mess around with VS Code or anything. Pretty convenient, I would say. So anyway, this is the game it made, and honestly guys, it's pretty rough. There's zero sound, no user interface to speak of, and the gameplay itself just feels really boring and basic. Let's tell it about all these problems and hope it can fix all these issues, because at this rate Gemini is definitely gonna lose this competition. Here's the supposedly fixed version of the game, and honestly there's literally no other change except the background got swapped out. That's it, so let's try telling it one more time to actually fix these issues before we do the final evaluation. Still no game over screen, still no music or sound effects whatsoever, and the gameplay is a bit less boring this time. I'll give it that. So yeah, overall this game is pretty disappointing and I'm giving it a 4 out of 10, not great. Let's just move on to the next one. Time to spin the wheel again. Man, I'm really hoping Cloud wins this round. And Perplexity wins it. Alright, let's see what this AI can bring to the table. Here's the prompt one more time. It generated 409 lines of code. Not too shabby, I would say. Let's fire it up and play. Wait, what is this? We're like dodge rolling instead of jumping. That's not what we asked for at all. This needs some serious fixing. At least we do have some sound effects though. So that's something. This second attempt now has background music, but oh man, it sounds like this. Also, the obstacles are spawning way too close to each other, which makes the whole thing completely unplayable. Let's give Perplexity the third and final prompt and really hope it can fix everything. Otherwise, it's straight up failing this challenge. Now we've got background music going, but it's literally just the same two notes, repeating over and over again. Also, the game still isn't really playable, but I gotta admit everything else is looking not too bad actually. I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 10. This time around, Grok wins the spin. Here's the prompt for it, really hoping everything goes smoothly and we end up with a pretty solid game. So it made a 271 line code. That's definitely the laziest AI you have seen so far. But hey, let's not judge too quickly. Let's actually play it and see what we are working with. It looks super simple and basic, and yeah, it's pretty much unplayable in its current state. There's honestly a long list of stuff that needs fixing here. Like the background is boring, the collisions on the obstacles aren't working right, the obstacle spawner is wonky, and we're missing sound effects and music entirely. Okay, here's the updated code and we can preview it right here in the interface. You know what? The game is actually perfect now. There's just one issue where there's not enough space between obstacles. And we have only given Grok 2 prompts so far, so hopefully it can nail it with this last one. The game is pretty playable now, although that spacing issue with the obstacles hasn't been fully resolved, it's way better. I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10. This time, ChatGPT wins the spin, which means Cloud comes in last place. Let's give ChatGPT the prompt and hope for the best results. Honestly, ChatGPT really should win this challenge because it's literally the most expensive AI out there. Just looking at the code it generated, it's making me super excited to see the actual game in action. We're looking at 765 lines of code. That's pretty substantial, to be honest. And the game is completely unplayable. And the sound effects are actually working really well. The UI is quite a bit different from what we actually expected to see, but overall everything is looking pretty decent aesthetically. So let's just get this obstacle problem sorted out. This time around, the code is actually got shorter, and I honestly can't imagine this being better than the previous version. But let's see. The game still has the exact same problem with how it's spawning obstacles. Alright, so let's give it one last prompt to fix this once and for all. Wait, this time the code has been reduced to all the way down to 254 lines. That's literally 1/3 of what the original code was. I guess this is just what OpenAI is doing to us right now. Let's run this and see what the hell happens. Oh no, the game is instantly over and the restart button is not even working. ChatGPT just keeps reducing the code more and more and straight up removing features instead of actually fixing the problems. I'm honestly afraid that if I give it another prompt to fix things, it would probably just reduce the entire code down to like 1 or 2 lines. So for ChatGPT, I'm gonna have to give it a 3 out of 10. It's just performing really bad at this particular challenge. And finally, at long last, it's Cloud's turn. I've actually worked with Cloud before and it works really well in my experience. Let's see how it handles this challenge. The prompt has been entered and already things are looking really good for Cloud. I'm getting good vibes about this one. Alright, so here's the game, let's play it and see how everything looks. The background is nice and simple, the player character is actually flipping around, which is a pretty cool new feature we haven't seen yet. We've got sound effects and background music both working, and we even have a score counter showing up. All of this is in the very first prompt, that's impressive. Let's just tell it to reduce the height of these obstacles a little bit and make the UI elements a bit more stylish and polished. So after implementing those fixes, I think it's basically perfect. The jump height might be a bit tiny and smaller than what we needed. Not that I'm bad at Geometry Dash or anything, definitely not. Anyway, we've got one last prompt available, so let's make the most of it. Alright, let's play this final version and see what we have got. Okay guys, I think this is it. This is the perfect one. Everything feels right, everything works smoothly, and it's genuinely fun to play. I'm giving this one a full 10 out of 10, and this is absolutely the winner of today's challenge. Let's throw all these scores up on the table and see how everyone did. So DeepSeek pulled off a really solid 9 out of 10, Gemini unfortunately only managed to get a 4 out of 10, Perplexity got a 5 out of 10, Grok did pretty well with a 7 out of 10, ChatGPT kind of flopped with just 3 out of 10, Cloud absolutely crushed it with a perfect 10 out of 10. So the championship leader right now is definitely Cloud, and this really goes and shows just how much capability and quality you can get from an AI completely for free. The ChatGPT free version was honestly straight up a failure, and I really hope they work on improving it because that was really rough. Make sure to drop a comment down below and tell me what other games you want these AIs to compete to make from scratch. I'd love to hear your ideas anyways, so I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.